They brutally tortured a weak-looking woman on that day, not even having a slight idea who her best friend is. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. One chilly February night, in some dark alleyways of London, a couple of street thugs were messing with homeless folks who were just trying to get some rest. Inside a small cardboard shelter, Isabel hid a stash of drugs in her mouth and quickly told Joey not to do anything dumb. But when they tried to make a run for it, the thugs blocked their way and took the drugs. One of them got too close, tried to unzip Isabel's jacket. That's when Joey snapped. He slammed his head into the guy holding him and made a break for it. Isabel managed to get away, but Joey wasn't so lucky. He got the worst of it, beaten badly before managing to crawl out of sight. He dragged himself up to a rooftop and slipped into a fancy apartment through an open window. The place seemed empty, so he stayed the night there to rest up. Elsewhere, one of the thugs caught up with Isabel and threatened her with a blade. The next morning, Joey cleaned himself up, showered, cut his hair, and changed into some clean clothes he found in the apartment. While he was getting ready to leave, he heard a voicemail saying the owner, someone named Damon, was out of town in New York until October 1st. Spotting a pile of unopened letters, he found a new debit card and its PIN. He used it to pull out some cash and ended up wandering the city drunk with memories of his time in Afghanistan messing with his head. He stumbled into a homeless shelter where a nun named Christina was handing out soup. Joey asked if she'd seen Isabel. She looked him up and down, surprised by his new clothes, and asked if he stole them. Joey brushed it off, said he got lucky, and offered her 500 pounds. She didn't want it, but he left the cash anyway, telling her to treat herself. The next day, Christina spoke with her superior about the money. She was told to add it to one of their usual funds, but she requested to use a portion of it for something personal. Once approved, she went out to buy a ticket for a ballet she'd always wanted to see. There was only one seat left for the final show on October 1st, and it cost exactly 500 pounds. Joey, meanwhile, was having nightmares, visions of hummingbirds and people being hanged. Feeling worse, he went to Christina and asked for antibiotics. She told him to go to a hospital, but Joey said he couldn't. He'd gone AWOL from the Special Forces and was avoiding getting court-martialed. He admitted he had broken ribs and a nasty infection that could kill him if it spread. Christina helped him out with medicine and painkillers and said she'd been asking about Isabel. Joey looked confused, not remembering what happened the night before. She didn't tell him about the money he gave her, just said Isabel wasn't showing up at the shelter anymore. Back at the apartment, Joey poured out the booze, started his antibiotics, and found the keys to a slick black Mercedes. He drove around London, putting up posters asking Isabel to reach out. Eventually, he got a message from her. She told him to stop looking. She was with those same thugs for now, trying to save up and start fresh up north. At a delivery shop, a shady man with a scar above his eye met with the thug who once pulled a knife on Isabel. They were running a hidden brothel, and Isabel, now dressed up and looking different, was sadly among the girls being exploited. One afternoon in March, Joey came back to the apartment with groceries. While making a smoothie, someone rang the buzzer. A woman outside said she saw someone go in and was ready to call the cops. Joey answered and quickly came up with a story. Said he was one of Damon's boyfriends, just crashing there for the summer to get his life sorted out. Joey then started working at a Chinese restaurant, cut up the debit card, and began training on the rooftop. Whenever trouble broke out at the restaurant, he stepped in to handle it. One night, when some rowdy customers got out of hand, Joey handled them easily. The owner noticed and soon introduced him to Mr. Choi, who hired Joey as a driver. Joey started making serious money enforcing rules, running deliveries, and collecting payments for Choi. One day, a pizza delivery guy showed up at the soup kitchen with a bunch of pizzas, saying someone named Joey Jones paid for it. From then on, Joey regularly sent food to the shelter, and folks on the street started calling him Crazy Joe. By July, Joey bumped into his ex, Dawn, at a supermarket. She was furious seeing him dressed like a businessman while she and their daughter were scraping by on almost nothing. She demanded to know what he was doing. Joey just said he'd been fighting. As she lashed out, he handed her a wad of cash and told her there was plenty more where that came from. One day, Christina found some packages and a dress waiting outside the convent, along with a note from Joey. She followed it and found him barbecuing behind the Chinese place. She found the whole setup weird and asked if he was mentally okay. Joey didn't deny it. Christina showed him a photo, Police had pulled the girl's body from the river and wanted help identifying her. Joey didn't want to look, but when he did, he instantly knew it was Isabel. Quietly, he burned the picture and sat down to eat. He asked if it was one of Isabel's rich clients who killed her. Christina nodded. Cops believed that was the case. Joey lost it and flipped a table. Christina snapped at him, saying he was a hypocrite for mourning Isabel while dealing drugs. She said the autopsy showed drugs in Isabel's system. After things calmed down, she admitted she used the money he gave her but sold her stuff to make up for it. Later, two thugs were back out bothering the homeless when Joey showed up and confronted them. One pulled a knife, but Joey just pulled out a spoon. The bigger guy looked freaked. Joey beat them down while demanding to know who killed Isabel. The smaller thug cracked and said it was a guy in his 30s with a scar over his eye. Christina shows up at a photo gallery wearing the dress Joey had gifted her, and when he sees her, he's clearly caught off guard by how stunning she looks. She catches his reaction and laughs nervously, saying it's the only nice dress she owns. Holding a champagne glass with shaky hands, she admits she skipped dinner and might pass out. She tells him she only came to find out more about Isabel's killer. Joey gives her the description he has, but their little chat is cut short when a gallery staff member questions their presence at the private exhibit, forcing them to make a quick exit. Once outside, Christina, tipsy and playful, asks Joey when the apartment's real owner is coming back. Joey replies, October 1st, which makes her smile since that's also the date of the ballet. She jokes about fate bringing things full circle and give him a kiss before heading off. The next morning, while Joey's heading out, his neighbor stops him and says he's changed a lot lately. She then flat out asks if he's into guys only. Smirking, he says he's recently developed a thing for nuns. She laughs, though she's obviously confused. Later, the police show up at the soup kitchen where Christina works. They ask about Joey Jones, pointing out that he's getting a bit infamous for being involved in shady business with Mr. Choi. They also suspect he's tied to the shelter in some way. When Christina meets Joey later, she tells him she had to lie to the cops about knowing him. Joey asks how they reacted to the killer's description. Christina says they didn't seem to care much about solving Isabel's murder. They were more focused on digging into Joey's past. While they're driving, Christina brings up what happened that night she was drunk. Joey seems surprised and reminds her that she asked him to kiss her. So he did, though he was already thinking about it anyway. When she asks why, he says the answer's obvious and tells her to look in a mirror. Feeling brave, Christina opens up about her past. When she was 10, her gymnastics coach started abusing her, and one day she killed him. Because of her age, she wasn't sent to prison, but ended up in a convent instead. She's never told anyone else. Joey is moved by her story and decides to share his own. When he left the army, he didn't go through the proper steps. He just took off, left everything behind, and never looked back. At the convent, the head nun asks Christina why she suddenly wants to go to Sierra Leone early. Christina says she always planned to work in Africa, but now feels like she needs to leave London sooner. Too many distractions. She says she's ready to go anytime after October 1st. Joey, trying to find out who hurt Isabel, asks his boss to set up a meeting with Madame Choi. When they meet, Joey asks if she knows any violent clients who use her girls. She tells him those kinds of men are banned. But once he describes Isabel's killer, she seems to recognize him and says she'll give up the name if he does her a favor first. Meanwhile, the man with the scar, Max, is shown assaulting another girl. Someone hears the noise and walks over, spotting his jacket hanging on the door. She checks the pockets and finds an invite to a fancy rooftop party addressed to Max. Joey makes good on his side of the deal by delivering a truck full of undocumented workers to a warehouse, just as Madame Choi requested. Once that's done, he asks the warehouse guy for the information he was promised. While waiting, Joey looks at the rooftop party invite. It's for October 1st. That same day, Christina meets Joey at the park. He asked her to come take pictures of him looking normal, something his daughter can remember him by. Christina asks if he's planning to visit his daughter, but Joey says he doesn't think he'll look like this for long. She gets worried and tries to get more out of him, but he dodges her questions. They stop by a cafe, and she asks him to send her the photos because she's leaving for Africa tomorrow and wants to take them with her. She says she'd like to end her time in London with him. Joey smiles. Later, they go back to the apartment and end up sleeping together. Just as they finish, Damon, the real owner, comes home. The door's locked, so they sneak out through the fire escape. On the street, Joey tells her there's enough cash in his bag for them to start over somewhere else. But Christina stops him and says if he really wants to be a better man, he needs to start living like one. She kisses him again and tells him to meet her at the ballet that evening at 7. Joey then pays a visit to his ex, Dawn. His daughter opens the door, but doesn't recognize him. He gently leaves the bag of money on the doorstep for her mom and hands the girl an envelope with photos, saying they're for her. That night, Christina stands outside the theater in her dress, hoping Joey will show up. But he doesn't. Instead, Joey attends a rooftop party. He finds Max, starts talking casually, then suddenly pushes him off the roof in front of everyone. Afterward, Christina finds Joey lying in the street, drunk and holding a bottle. He wakes up, crying, and tells her that when he's sober and functional, he ends up hurting people. She hugs him while he sobs. The next morning, on her way to the airport, Christina reads a letter from Joey. In it, he explains he returned all the money he took from Damon and even added more to cover rent. He left extra cash for food at the shelter too. He also tipped off the police about the human traffickers. He tells her that for the first time in a long time, he felt truly alive, and he's grateful he got to share that feeling with her. Somewhere else in the city, Joey's caught on camera walking with a bottle in hand. The police put out a warning, approach with caution. If you like this video, hit that like button, and if not, maybe press dislike twice just to be sure. But really, you should watch the whole movie. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.